Things Possible TV. I'm Kris Barney and this is Teddy Hodges. Teddy's my guest today and I'm thrilled to have him. Teddy, tell us the thing that is just so passionate and powerful in your heart.
So I've had a calling to come out and actually speak to youth and mentor them and help them become better in their own lives. And I found there's a couple different ways we can do that. First way is in the home with parents and great effective parents. And that is one great passion that I'm focusing on.
That's awesome. He is an engaging speaker and trainer for youth and really helps on those hard, tough topics. And we're thrilled to have him on our channel and be able to tell a little bit of his story and give you some input on bullying and if your child is addicted and find out some of those hard answers. So stay with us. We've got a lot coming. Before we get really into the story and hear all about Teddy, we want to invite you to go to our website at www.allthingspossible.biz and get your gift, the 7 traits. I teach 7 traits that if you will implement those in your life, you will change your life and do better. We're thrilled to have you with us and want to just continue and let you hear Teddy's story. So get your 7 traits and jump back and take the opportunity to hear what we got to share today. So Teddy, let's just get really raw and real on here. And
awesome.
Why don't you tell us your story and kind of how this all transpired and where you've come from. You've been a deputy sheriff, you've had experience in youth advocates and just a lot of stuff and experience to really make a difference in youth, the lives of youth and parents.
Yeah, let's go ahead and start like where I was born and where I was raised, because I think that comes with a lot of it, not location, but from my parents and their backgrounds. So as we're parents, I'm a parent, Kris is a parent, we all have these things of where we've been parented before from our parents. So when I was at a young age, I grew up in Wyoming, a small town. It's a beautiful town. My parents still live there currently. And it was that small town where you knew everybody and everybody knew you, so getting in trouble was really easy to do, and your parents always found out. But as parents, we don't know how to parent. We are given this gift of this newborn, and we're like, oh, what do we gotta do? How do we do this?
They don't come with a book.
I wish. I don't understand. Yeah, they definitely don't come with a refund either. So.
Or a return policy.
Yeah. At 18, it's kind of iffy anyways. You've had them too long.
Right.
So there's a lot of things that we can do and learn from that. So I was raised by 2 wonderful parents, as most of us were. Through that process, we develop our own parenting style, our parenting techniques, and I think that is good and bad because there are some effective parents and there are some real less effective parents, and so
there are some very much less effective parents, less involved,
definitely,
maybe.
Definitely, and involvement, communication, spending time with your kids, and not just taking them to sports or games or activities. And we'll go over that later in the episode. But as I was born and raised, I realized that my parents loved me, but I didn't understand that at 12 years old or even 10 years old. I thought my friends, and what was important to me at that time was what was important to me, not to the whole grand scope of my family, of my parents, of my life. So I ended up going through some easy learning lessons when I was younger, from forging my mom's signature in 3rd grade, getting called into the bishop's office, I was probably that too, but getting called into the principal's office, that's always fun as a 6, 7, 8-year-old. And I was told that I needed counseling, not just school counseling, but I actually needed clinical counseling and therapy.
Wow.
And my mom just shook her head, and the principal in this school was just way out in left field. I probably did need that, but not to the level that he wanted. So as I go and learn through these mistakes and efforts, I end up falling into some simple addictions, hanging out with friends and having our forts in the woods and the hills and being able to collect pornographic material and viewing that at a young age. It really changed my perspective on women and towards women, and I really struggled for about 10 to 15 years through that addiction. I also was, when I got older in life, about 17, 18, I started having occasional drinks and alcohol and became an alcoholic for 8 years of my life. And along with all those fun things, I was exposed to bullying. I became a bully. I had suicidal thoughts and tendencies. I had issues where I wasn't able to survive or even mentally get out of bed unless I was drinking something right at the bedside. And this is all while I'm living in my parents' basement as a 20-something-year-old. That's a real go-getter right there. I finally had a pivotal moment in my life where I needed something to change. It had to change or else I was going to not be here. So I made a mental decision. I was able to stop drinking alcohol. I became an actual human. I was actually aware and present in my life for the first time. I became a deputy sheriff. I was doing that for a while. Realized that my passion and for the youth actually came out of that field of background, and I realized that once they got into that system and once I put handcuffs or took them out of a home or had to place them somewhere, that I wasn't helping them. There was nothing for me to do. They were in the court system, and for me to get my message or to actually assist them, I was getting more heartbroken and more discouraged about these youth. From that, I decided to go to a treatment facility where we helped at-risk kids and through different wilderness programs and camping outdoors, and that was a blast, getting paid to camp. It was fun.
That would be fun, but I'll bet you had your challenges with those kids.
Yeah, this was up in the Uinta Mountains. We did it all year round. Summer times were great. Winter, not so great. It was cold.
Cold and miserable and wet.
Yeah, everything was wet. And we had, it was a co-ed camp, so we had boys and girls up to the age of 18. We also had an older group, but my main focus was youth. And we have these huge, nice, beautiful tents, but we have to leave the doors open because we have to sleep with the youth to keep them safe and secure. And we always had those ones that wanted to run home during the middle of the night that we had to get up and track down and bring back to camp. And those are some fun nights.
Right.
When you don't get any sleep, but you still have them. So through that process, I learned how to recognize issues and problems, and through these kids, we were helping them. I'm still friends with several of them. I still stay in contact with them. I had some great students up there. I had some great mentors and counselors up there as well. Nothing that I've done or nothing that I'm going to teach you is something that I personally have done by myself. I've always had help. I've always had mentors. I've always had other parents. I also have my students, which I learn from every day. I love one of our quotes. Our good friend, Dr. Paul Jenkins, he goes, "I'm a clinical psychologist, but all I do is illuminate the obvious." We all know these things. We all know these things as parents, as youth, as kids.
I love that he says that, because it's the truth.
Yeah.
We hear things over and over, but it takes the right person, that right connection. And I love that you can be that connection. And that mentors are a big part of our life. Not only are we mentors, but we have mentors. We have business mentors. We have other people that have mentored us through the process to get where we are and to be able to spread the message and to spread the word on how to do it different. I love that you went from that space of, at your parents' house in the middle of addiction and pornography and a lot of trouble in your life to, I'm going to go defend the law. Yeah. And I'm going to go, make a difference here. But what I think is the big monumental step there is that it was such a big change for you that you embraced exactly the opposite of what you were doing, and that you did notice that you can take kids off the street all day long, but at that point they're already in a world of hurt. Yeah. And it's hard to make a difference at that point.
Yeah, these kids are asking for help every day. You go into any middle school, any high school, it's an epidemic of kids having or been in trouble or on that verge of trouble, and they're crying out for help all day long. We just don't see it until we open our eyes. You parents that are struggling with your youth, your own youth in your home, or your friends of your kids, you can actually see the signs, and and if you're watching this, you're already looking for help and reasons and success and information to move forward. I congratulate you on that. Keep searching. If you resonate with me, if you resonate with Kris, just stay tuned to what we have coming, because it's amazing, the simple, basic tools that you can use and understand to be able to parent better, to be able to help not only your kids but the rest of your kids and their kids, and also your friends and neighbors' kids. If you guys just get involved with your schools, with your PTA, you'll be able to change worlds and lives with a couple simple tools.
Well, and that's the big thing, is make the decision to be involved. Sometimes we have to make that decision with parenting every single day, like, yes, I really want to do this today. And there's times that's really difficult. It's really a challenge when children push those boundaries of, especially when you've taught them one way and they're pushing back in a different direction, and ultimately they're going to make their choices, and you have to be educated to be able to assist them to make different choices, make better choices, and to be involved with them to really know where they are. Talk about the bullying. There's so much bullying in our schools, and if you don't have that right relationship with your kids, you don't even know they're being bullied.
Yeah. So bullying is at an all-time high. So it's really tough to get clear statistics on what bullying, how much bullying is effective in our schools or at risk at our schools. They have some statistics like 300,000 kids each month are bullied. 50% of that's online. And that's a really broad, when you take a look at that, 300,000 kids, well, there's approximately 2,000 kids in every middle school. So you're talking 15 middle schools, every one of those kids are bullied. You have more than 15 middle schools in the Salt Lake area. We have more than 15 high schools in this area. So if we actually took a look at that, there's a lot of kids getting bullied every single month. Cyberbullying is an all-time high. Right. That is the easiest way to be bullied because it's anonymous. I mean, we have these wonderful cell phones like these right here. These are the best and worst inventions in the world. We love them. They're so grateful. They have lots of great information on them, but they have a lot of bad information on them. Like, I could be 4 clicks away from porn. I could be 4 clicks away from reading the Bible. I could be... It's good and evil on both spectrums. So you have to communicate effectively with your kids on a really young level and introduce them to what is at risk, to let them know what bullying is and help them understand how that affects them personally. Most kids that are bullied are going to bully other kids, and so that's one main thing you have to watch out for is my kid different? Is he changed? Is his habits changed? A lot of these indicators aren't only indicators for bullying or being bullied, but for suicide, which in the state of Utah, where we're in, is one of the highest states in the U.S. that has this issue. We're the highest in middle-aged suicides, and we're one of the highest in teen suicides. So those two areas of being anti-bullying and anti-suicide is two of my main topics that I speak to on my school assemblies when I go to visit middle schools and junior highs. And it's really, really tough because you see these wonderful kids. Every kid is wonderful. They don't get treated like that all the time. I know I didn't, and I know probably you didn't all the time.
Nope, I didn't either.
So.
And you see it even at the best schools. You still see it. You think you can change schools and put them in a charter school or put them in something different, and sometimes those will be big contributing factors that help. Yeah. But at the same time, you still have to be involved as a parent. You have to set the parameters. You have to be, I know with my kids, cell phones were newer at that point. I'm the age of myself here, but I still would be like, hand over your phone. Like, I get to check your phone. You still have to have those boundaries set and in place to where you're involved. My kids knew at any point I could say, hand it over, and I could see all their texts, all their stuff.
Yeah.
And we went through, you don't get to delete unless I say delete. And that way I got to be involved in their phone. Now that sounds pretty controlling, but at the same time it kept them from being in a lot of deeper trouble. It kept them from sending inappropriate pictures and stuff across to actually be exposed on the other end of someone sending it, viral. It's important to have those boundaries and to be able to really have that communication with your child. Tell us about how you approach that parent aspect, because I know you do some sessions, some breakout sessions, and some classes with parents.
So we do parent workshops every so often. You can check it out on my website when we have them scheduled. We try to do one about once a month. We're also going to be doing webinars and other online-based trainings for people not local to the Utah area, Salt Lake area. So through that, we were able to help these parents just understand some basic concepts of what they're doing great and what they could be doing better. We all communicate with our kids, right? Are we being effective in that communication? Do they hear what they want to hear? This also goes with spouses and marital relationships, because you know and I know that when my wife asks me to go do something, I only hear about 5% of that. I get the key nugget information. I don't listen from A to Z, and that's something that I'm personally working on, and my wife's very well.
I love your honesty.
Yeah,
5%.
That's lucky. That depends on if there's anything else in the room, a TV, a radio, a phone, and then how busy I am with a work or what else is going on in my mind.
Right.
We aren't all present in our situations all the time. So being more present in your kid's life. You can be the best mom. Your kid could be an honor student. Your kid could be a 4.0. He could be involved in sports and activities, and you're dropping him off at school for early morning practice, and he's staying late, and there's so many things he's so involved, but yet he still could be bullied. So there's a lot of things you need to understand how to communicate. As simple as, how was your day? What was going on? And from teens, I know I always gave the short, one simple answer. That's good. Yeah, I'm okay. You know, it's deeper than that. Dig a little deeper. Ask those clarifying questions. What's that look like? What's that going to be? How are you going to do that? My parents were great parents. They struggled on so many levels. We had my brother. He was in the state penitentiary for several years. My sister, she had some trouble through high school. My little brother and little sister and me, we all learned from those mistakes. So we never got that bad, right? But there's things that my parents learned as through the 5 kids that they raised. There's things that you're going to learn as raising one child or even the 2 or 3 child. And you're not going to raise them all the same. Your parenting skills and styles are going to change per the kid, which they should, because not every kid is the same.
Right, I was just going to say, if you are using the same parenting skills on each child, you need to change that.
Yeah.
Because you need different things for different people. You need to find out their personality and where they're at risk.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to have different choices and different things.
Yeah, not every kid's going to struggle in the same areas. You may have one that's super good at math, but lacking in social skills. They may be great in social skills, but have no other opportunities to further or learn more until you're able to expose those talents and traits. Every kid is individual. Every kid is a great resource and a creative being, and you need to treat them like that. So communication looks like greeting your kid at the door, asking them what they're doing, where they're going, when they're going to be back, who they're hanging out with. And your kid might not be the same kid that's in front of you, but he is in front of the friends. So you need to know how he's showing up in all aspects of his life. Talk to teachers, talk to friends, talk to parents, and just if there's any question about your child showing up or being different or acting out, check their cell phones. Most of the time when these kids do it, they're not very intelligent, and we like to record ourselves doing stupid things. So check their YouTube account, check their Facebook account. You can check a lot of things out, and this information that we gather on ourselves, parents, keep track of us. Keep track of their cell phones, keep track of where they're at. You don't always have to be a helicopter parent, but
right.
let these kids fail. Let these kids learn some lessons, but be there as supportive parents to help them through these lessons and encourage them to get out and get resources. And if you don't have the resources as parents, reach out, because there's other people that have those resources.
Right. One of the things that I did with my kids, which really seemed to help us, was we got their high for the day, so their happiest moment of the day, their low for the day, and what they were going to accomplish the next day, like what they were trying to create for the next day. And what it was this time that they got to say, I don't like how you parented right here. And I didn't get to object. I just got to let them be heard. They got to say whatever they wanted to say, get it off their chest, and be heard. And there was sometimes that it was pretty tough to take as the parent, going, okay, I so want to be ready to fight about this, or ready to really jump in and be like, but, and it wasn't allowed. So they found this safe space. Another thing that we did was they could come to us at any point and say, can we talk? And that meant they had something heavy to talk about. and we got to be totally like no freak out, no have a fit, no like punishment. It was, they got to say if it was alcohol, if it was pornography, if it was, you know, they were really bad at school or they did something, they knew they had this safe place to be like, okay, so they're not going to freak out.
Yeah.
And I suggest creating some of those.
Yeah, that's one really good tool to use, is to create that safe place. A lot of parents, we're all like this. We have a confrontation or somebody comes at us of like, hey, I did this, and we want to yell and scream at them, and we want to fight, and we want to battle with them. We're not going to win that. Nobody's going to win that. You're both going to leave and go away angry and upset. There's better ways around it. There's proper ways to deal with things, because after that battle, we're all like, oh, I should have said this, or I should have done that, and we realize where our gaps and laps are. So creating that safe space is one great technique. I didn't feel comfortable talking to my parents about pornography. I didn't feel comfortable talking to them about alcohol, or drugs, or having sex at high school, or any of those things, because it was forbidden in my house to not talk about them, but it was forbidden to bring that into the house and bring that into the environment. And so I felt ashamed and guilt of it. And that's one thing where parents that have these great relationships and they have these great conversations, these kids aren't feeling guilt and shame about their actions or who they are. They're feeling guilt and shame about what's transpired. So it's easier to talk about it when it's an action and not about themselves.
Right.
So that's a really good technique. The other good technique is, if you guys did this one thing, I guarantee that you will change your family. Eat dinner together. Sit down to a meal. It could be KFC, it could be McDonald's, I don't care what it is. Sit down around a table and eat a meal together. That half an hour, 45 minutes, shut off the cell phones, shut off the TVs, the radios, and communicate with your kids. Spend that half an hour, 45 minutes with them. If it's a home-cooked meal, that's even better, because everybody loves mom's cooking. So sit down and eat.
Mom can cook, right?
Yeah, exactly. If it's dad's cooking, that's great too. But sit down and eat together every single night. It may seem as a daunting task at first, but your kids will enjoy it and love it. I know to this day, we still love to go to mom's house every Sunday night for dinner. And when we miss, we feel like we missed a part of the family.
Right.
So that's one great thing, is eat dinner together.
Get them involved in cooking with you and cleaning it up.
Most definitely.
Like they get to learn how to cook and they get to be involved, but it is a really good time to actually have that sit down time, and that they know that there's a safe place at that table that they can share, and you do find out more about the kids. Another thing that's really important is actually be the house that has the friends over. Get to know their friends.
Yeah.
Don't just suspect that, oh yeah, they're a good family. We were a really good family, and that we could get in a lot of trouble if we wanted to.
Yeah.
That didn't just say that, oh, that family's a good family. Get to know those kids. You know, before we started filming, we started talking about one of your neighbors, which was one of my son's best friends. And, you know, great kid, but they sure knew how to cause some trouble together. And because we had them in our home, because we really got to know these kids, it made a big difference. And most of the time, when you get to know the kids that are the friends, those friends will behave better because they know you and they have a relationship with you as well. Most
definitely. It's all about respect, and that's what one of the main messages that we teach these kids is about respect. Respect for themselves, respect for their parents, respect for the educators, the principals, and authority. We want them to be part of something bigger, but we understand that if I don't respect my parents, I can't be an adult. I can't be an upstanding citizen of the community if I don't respect other people. We've all ran into those adults that never learned the word respect or what it meant. So that's one great thing we're trying to teach these kids.
Well, and the kids need to respect themselves, and they need to know that they're respected.
Yeah.
And that's usually what they're screaming out for, is to have some type of respect and some validation that they're a good person.
Yeah. They all want attention, and they will get it how they think they're going to get it. Attention from good things is better attention, but it doesn't last as long as that attention from bad things or negative things. So we want to make sure that we're teaching positive and true, correct principles to get the proper behavior out of these kids, and also using proper parenting techniques to be more effective. And once you do that, you're able to empower these kids to move forward in their lives with determination and respect for others and themselves. And it just takes them so much farther in life. So
that's awesome. Well, Teddy, tell them how they can get a hold of you, the best way for them to schedule you to speak or to get in contact with you. What's the best way for them to reach out to you? So
there's a couple different ways. If you're watching this, great. You can actually call my cell phone directly. It's 801-850-7688, and I will answer your questions through there. You can text me. Also, my email is teddymhodges@gmail.com. That's TEDDYM, like in Mike, HODGES @gmail.com. My website's also teddyhodges.com. Look for me there. There's great resources and content there. You're going to find videos such as this, other videos that I've done, other videos that other groups and some of the nonprofit work that I do has been on there. So that's going to be great to see that. I'd love to connect with you on several of those platforms. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, you name it, we're there.
When he's bored, he runs for mayor.
Yeah, yeah. I like to do some political stuff too. I just want to create impact on the world and leave a legacy and create these kids to know that they can do the same. We all have wonderful children. Let's parent them to make them wonderful adults. So
that's awesome. Thank you so much for being on the show, and take advantage of going to his website, getting some information, and having him come to your children's school. Yeah. That's a great way to make a difference for the whole school, the whole community. He does exciting, fun, energetic assemblies and speaking events and stuff with those kids, and gets them involved, gets them on stage. I've seen some of your stuff, and it's really awesome.
It's fun. I have fun.
And when we get to go and play as adults, we've had great laser tag and done a lot of fun things. You love to do things that youth love, and that's a great way to get involved. So find Teddy and learn from him and have a better experience with your teens, and get your school involved with what he's about, because he talks about the hard things, those suicide and addictions and behaviors that can be changed. And with the right help and the right support, you can have a different experience. So make sure and reach out to Teddy. One last time, I want to give you the opportunity to get the 7 traits. So you can go to our website at www.allthingspossible.biz and get that free 7 traits. It's a video series. Again, thanks for joining us. We love that you come back and are part of the All Things Possible community, and we'll see you next time on All Things Possible TV. Bye-bye.
See you later.